Welcome back to Daniel's Tech World on YouTube. This is Daniel Rosal here. I currently find myself in a underground car park in Tel Aviv. Got to keep the locations mixed up, right? And I'm currently waiting to pick someone up. So I thought that while I was here with about 20 minutes to kill, I would take the opportunity to do a little audio test and demonstration on a XLR wireless audio system that I picked up probably about 6 months ago, after I bought my camcorder, the Canon X840, which I love dearly. Now, the reason this is interesting is because it's an XLR audio system. The receiver actually terminates in an XLR jack, just as you can see there. So if you have something like a camcorder, a more professional camcorder, a cinema camera, whatever, that it's easier to go in on XLR than it is on 3.5 mils and then have to use something like an adapter, then this can be a very interesting system. Now, the thing about these XLR audio systems, to sort of compare them with, let's say, the much better known Rode Wireless Go, is that once you get into the world of XLR audio, stuff tends to get expensive because it's intended for a more professional user base, let's say. So this Boya system I found is very, very much the cheap and dirty system in this category. The products specifically are the RX XLR8 Pro, that's the receiver, and this is a little XLR in, as I mentioned, that will actually, one useful thing is it rotates 360 degrees. You've got a little screen here, and you can use two of these at the same time. You can run two channels. On the top here you have a 3.5mm jack for live audio monitoring, which is of course useful. And then the transmitter I'm using is the BY-WM8 Pro. This has a 3.5mm input, and I just connected a Saramonic 3.5mm wireless lav. So I'm going to put this on me. I'm going to connect this piece, the receiver, into my Canon X840 camcorder. I'm going to start walking backwards towards the wall in this car park, probably about 50 meters, I would say, from where the camera is on a tripod to where the wall is. I'll walk back and I'll walk forward, hopefully give you some idea of the range quality. Okay, so I've just hooked up the sound system. I can see from the levels that we have pickup. I'm going to walk back in this direction. I'm obviously currently literally just in front of the camcorder, and as I mentioned, there's probably about 50 meters behind me. It's quite a long way, and there's no cars there, so this is a good chance to do it. So I'm just going to talk, for the sake of having audio, about where I am. I'm currently in, as I walk backwards, a car park in Tel Aviv. I'm coming back from a trip to the north of Israel. I went to Metula for a few days. Now I'm probably 10 meters from the camcorder. Metula is the northernmost town in Israel. I stayed there with my wife for a few days, and like every time we're in Israel, I took the chance to see some interesting things in the area. Okay, probably about 15 meters from the camcorder. I'm going to keep going. We went to the Nachal Iyun, which is a natural natural reserve with waterfalls in the area. We went to something called the Syrian Government House, which is a relic from the time that Syria was there, very relevant to the 6-day war with Israel. You can just go in. It's a little bit dilapidated. Okay, I'm probably a decent 30 meters from the camcorder now, and the wall's probably another 20 meters. I'm going to keep going, talk a little bit more about the trip. What else did we do on this trip? We did not go to the Hula Lake, which is a big lake in the area with lots and lots of birds. It's very cool. There's lots of wildlife, and especially at this time of year, because the birds are migrating. I'm obviously just talking for the sake of talking, and I'm struggling at this point to find filler material. Okay, there's only about 5 more meters to the wall. I'm just going to do the last bit like this, and I'm now at a solid distance from the camcorder, all the way back here, and if we get good pickup, it will be probably pretty decent. I can't vouch. I'm going to start walking back to the camera now. I can't vouch for the quality of the lav mic I'm wearing, which is obviously going to affect the audio quality. It's a 3.5mm lav from Saramonic. As far as I know, it's not terrible. It's not brilliant. So I'm going to just pause here for a few seconds while I'm about halfway here. And we saw 2 borders on this trip. The Lebanese border with Israel, which is called the Blue Line, and we also saw the Syrian border, which is called the Purple Line. Visiting borders in Israel, you know, some people are into it. If you're into politics, you might find it interesting. The reason I like borders, besides being into politics, there are some beautiful parts of Israel in the places where there are borders. Okay, now I'm at about 10 meters back to the camcorder, and I'm just going to do the last stretch like this, all the way back, and I'm back now in front of the camcorder. So I hope that gave folks a range. I'm very intrigued to listen back to that myself, how good the wireless reception is. On this kit now, just want to say, as I mentioned, for XLR audio, you're typically getting into quite pricey gear. The better quality stuff in this category of XLR transmitter receivers would be stuff from like Sennheiser, but you'd be looking at more like $800 in terms of cost. To get these two modules, XLR transmitter, XLR receiver, was more like $200, so it's definitely a lot cheaper than the broadcast quality Pro gear. Thanks for watching, hope this was useful, and goodbye.